everyone. My name is Belly, and
if you are subscribed, that's wonderful.
That's perfect. Yay! Guys, I cannot believe I'm extremely happy today because I have with me one wonderful person. He is one Venezuelan guy. I know him very much from a long time ago. And I just have to say that first of all, he's going to introduce himself. His name is Melanio, better known as Melanio Bar.
Yeah, that's me. Yes,
or Melanio Escobar. So I have a couple of questions over here. First of all, he's going to introduce himself. We are book lovers in this channel, therefore we're going to talk about this beautiful illustrated book that we have over here. Oh, it's so beautiful. I love it. And yeah, first of all, please, Melanio, tell me where you're from, who you are, where are you located right now, and of course, what do you do?
Okay, well, hey everyone who is watching. My name is Melanio Escobar. I'm a Venezuelan journalist and activist, and now I'm a book author because I just made my first book. It's a children's book, actually. I thought that I was going to write something a little bit more mature, but at the end of the process, I realized that it's really mature and it's really difficult to write a children's book. But anyway, that's not the question. I'm from Caracas, Venezuela. Yeah, I know. I get excited when I get the chance to speak about the book. But anyway, I'm from Caracas, Venezuela. I'm now based in Miami in the United States because I'm a political person, in danger because of the government of Venezuela. The government has been chasing me for a long time, and sadly, I have to move here. I'm living now in the exile in the United States. But anyway, you can follow my work on my Instagram account, on my Twitter account. You can visit my website. That's everything that I do, that I have done on my life is there. So you can read a little bit more about me there.
Yeah, exactly. So unfortunately, we don't have much time today. I'm trying to have 2 videos today with him. I don't know if we have enough time. I'm trying to do my best, but if it's up to you if you want to know more about this personality, because he really, trust me, he's one of the most, important personalities, at least for my generation, because he has done a lot through my entire life. When I was a child, I used his publications to inspire myself to do something for university, some task for even the school. So yeah, if you want to know more about him, we will have our chance. He's perfect for a lot of different things, but right now we're talking about the book. So please tell me right now in the description section if you want to know more about him and the questions that you want to make him. So you mentioned that you are Venezuelan, as me. We all know how Venezuela is right now. That's why I haven't been there since I left. You mentioned that you are living in the United States and you are an activist. How do you say?
Activist.
Thank you. Yeah, I have some issues with English, but I'm trying to.
It's okay, me as well. It's not easy. I mean, I speak a fluent Spanish, but I tried my best to speak fluent as well and in English, but it's not easy. Even though if you speak like fluent English, when you are recording, your brain gets messed up because you get nervous, you start like stepping in your words, Mm-hmm. And it's hard, but that's okay. You have to apologize. I know that all your subscribers knows that you do your best effort to conduct this in English and try to deliver them the information in their language. That's not easy, and that's something that you should be proud of.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, actually, one of the things that I'm always saying in here is that I encourage people from the UK or people that is living outside their native countries that they speak in English as a second language. I encourage them to keep trying. Doesn't matter if you are not like the best if you don't have the best accent, or if you don't feel that you are confident enough to talk, you need to practice. And the more you practice, the better you become. But yeah,
of course,
always encourage yourself. Don't be afraid.
Of course.
Okay. Returning to our conversation. So one of the things that you're doing now is writing a book. You just released the first book that you mentioned that is for children, and I'm extremely happy because I read it, and at the end I didn't know how to feel. We will talk about that later on. Can you explain to my audience what was the process? What did you do from the very first moment when you had that idea in your mind, and then you developed it and get the final product? How was that process?
All right. Okay. First of all, I need to explain people that is watching this video that I run an organization called Redes Ayuda. It's a human rights organization, and our main focus is freedom of speech. In that sense, we have make a huge program inside Venezuela and now Latin America that is called Music for Medicines, which basically is that we make products like books, CDs, DVDs, concerts, whatever, and the price for those items are medicines, and those medicines are destined to public healthcare hospitals, whatever. So those medicines are going to be given to people that is in vulnerable states, or they are in poor conditions, or I don't know how to say it properly in English, but people that need the medicine, whatever. Anyway, we already launched, or maybe the word is released, we already released a book about the punk rock history in Venezuela. That was our first book that we made through the Humano Derecho Libros and Music for Medicines.
Reciclaje is going to be there, of course.
Yeah. Reciclaje is there. Nada. I mean, all the bands that were somehow important in the punk rock history of Venezuela is there. But we are talking about Sentimiento Muerto, from Sentimiento Muerto to the newest bands. So it's an interesting story because it's not only about the punk rock music itself. It's about how the political scenarios change through time and through the perspective of these bands and what they were singing and what they were saying at the moment. So it's a really, I think this is an innovative way to speak about the downfall of politics in Venezuela is through music. But anyway, we have the reggae book, it's also out there. We have bunch of CDs of protest music, I just released an album from an artist called Ricardo del Búfalo. He's a great musician, and he's also a comedian. And we just launched that record, and it's great. It's humor with politics, with human rights. I mean, it's something that it's really cool. But anyway, we have released in the past so many products for people to be traded for medicines, and I thought at one point that there was one specific target of the population that wasn't being attended, and those are the children. The children of today is the generation that is being raised by this horrible situation and this awful context inside a country that is run by a blood regime, and all the things that we have made for these kids to be inside a bubble as parents, because I'm a parent. I have two kids, one 9-year-old and I have a daughter, a 4-year-old also, and both have been living through these horrible situations that no one deserves to face. But anyway, I thought that no one was speaking to the kids and no one was explaining to them what is really happening inside the country. Obviously, I have to do it in a very soft language because those are kids. You cannot bring anything negative to their minds. You have to try to see the positive side of the whole situation. So that's what basically did with this book. I tried to I tried to recall what I did with my kids when there was no running water on our house and I have to bathe them with the same, bucket of water for weeks, or when the electricity went down and all these blackouts in the country that lasted for days, what I have to do to bring them some peace with this situation was ongoing, you know? And I remember that I used to play games with my kids when the power was out. I bring the flashlight and the candles just to make some, to make some lights on the house. And I tried to make a game with them, like, you know, that game that we used to do when we were kids, like you grab the flashlight and you point your hand through the wall and you make like a dog or you make a spider, that kind of stuff. That's what was playing with my kids, just to get them bypass the situation a little bit, you know, because it's really hard. At the end of the situation, all the kids are going to perceive whatever you bring them. The kids see the world through your eyes. If the power goes out and you start like cursing or bringing all the frustration outside you, that is what the kid is gonna learn, and that's how the kid's gonna face the world from there, because that's the only thing that he's gonna know about how to face these kind of problems. But in that frustration, if you decide to take the positive side of the situation and try to teach them that every situation has two sides, one bad and one good, maybe you give them the tools, necessary tools to conduct their lives in a positive way. So that's what is about. That's everything that is about in this book. I try to bring the positive side of me as parent and trying to paint a better world to my kids. That's basically La Sonrisa de Victoria. It's all these awful situations, but with a positive mental attitude on it. So anyway, I have this horrible background, whatever, that I'm gonna take it out.
Yeah. So meanwhile,
so I can show the book. Yeah, I already did. So you can see this is one of the passages. I don't know how to say in English. In this book, basically,
pages.
This is one of the first situations that is presented on the book, and you can see the little bunny, that's Victoria, and her mom. They are carrying all these water buckets to the house, and then the mother is bathing Victoria in this larger bucket. What it says, what it represents, is all the times that we as parents have to bathe our kids in dirty water because there's no running water on our towns. What basically it says in Spanish is: Te amo, mami, y aunque vivimos lejos de la playa, me divierto con la piscina que me haces en casa. In English, it's something like, I love you, mommy, and even though we live really far from the beach, I get fun. I get fun with the pool that you make for me at home. So it's the positive side of things. It's not, I mean, I as a communicator, I've been a communicator, like Belly said at the beginning. I've been working on media outlets all my life. I've been on television, newspaper, radio station, you name it. I most likely was there and still there. And I learned something that it's revealing. I mean, if you got one message, if you want to communicate one message, you discover in the process of developing that message that you can share the same message through different channels with different methods, and it's the same message. I've been taking this information, these human rights violations, into the International Criminal Court. I've been in the European Parliament. I've been anywhere in the world speaking about this, and who is the responsible guys for this, and who is the people affected, and why is happening this in Venezuela, one of the richest countries in the region. But for a children's book, you cannot do that. I cannot tell the kid that he needs to be mad with someone or any government or whatever. For kids, you have to speak them in a positive way. That's what I keep repeating, that word all the time, positive. You need to bring them some relief so they can go on in life with better tools to develop their self in life. So that's why I wrote this book. My wife did the illustration, and one of my best friends, Giancarlos Morenos, helped her to finish the book. So they were they were fantastic. If you see the illustrations inside the book, you cannot believe how these drawings transmit so much peace and so much love. It's amazing. I couldn't do this without her and without him also. This is a line for gasoline. Venezuela is a petrol producer, one of the biggest oil reserves in the world, and we don't have gas for our cars. And the lines are very long, very long. You know, people spend 8 hours, 12 hours just to get a full tank of gasoline on their car.
And that's in Caracas, because in Mérida you can spend like 3 days.
Yeah,
one
that's
week.
true. And that's in the capital. On the other states of the country, it's even worse. But anyway, this is the representation of that situation. Is the car, right? And it's the mommy, and this is Victoria, and she's happy because she gets to spend time with her mom, listen to her favorite music. She doesn't see the situation as a bad thing, like, oh my God, why are stuck here in this line for gasoline? What is happening to this country? No, she's like, I'm really happy because I'm sharing the music with my mommy while we wait for the service. And you know what? We deserve some relief. As Venezuelans, as human beings, we cannot be all day like cursing and frustrating about the situation. We need to teach ourselves to see the situation differently and try to be happy. At the end of the story, our happiness is our ultimate revenge to these guys. That's something that nobody can take from you. The happiness, it comes inside your mind, your soul. It's a decision. It's not about the context. Obviously, the context can affect if you're happy or not, if you're frustrated or not. But if you train yourself enough, you can decide if you want to be happy or not. And that's what I try to teach kids with this book. And that's why the bunny is named Victoria, because it's like a game of war. It's La Sonrisa de Victoria is like the smile of victory. You know, our happiness is our victory, basically.
Exactly. So what I said at the beginning of the question is like, as soon as I finished the book, it was a bittersweet feeling, because I was like, I don't know, I didn't want to feel sad. But then I was like, that's perfect, because it helped as a parent how to deal with the situation. Because as you mentioned, we need to always be positive for the kids, because also if you are a kid, you need to improve yourself and have a normal life, not living in these horrible situations. What is happening is like, this is not happening just in Venezuela, because we are Venezuelan and we know this is happening in Venezuela, and we feel it so closely, so close. But actually, I felt that this situation can be related to many children around the world, because we know that's because we're living in America, basically. But what about people that is living their entire life in that way? They never know how it is to have television or the normal things that we have every day. And yeah, this book basically told me or explained how we can deal with that kind of situations and see it in a different way and explain it to children in a different way, which is really, really nice, because I think that we can teach that for people. What I took it in the UK is that we can, as Venezuelan parents, I'm not a parent, I don't want to, but I have friends. So I can teach them how is the socialism or the communism, you know. I need to explain this kind of people from the UK, what is the reality, because the people around the world consider that the democracy is the same that socialism or communism, and it's very difficult for me to explain to the people in the UK how it is to be living in this country that they say that they are this kind of politics that perfect.
And it's really hard to explain, because
yeah,
I mean, most people has known a dictatorship or a regime through books, in the university, in college campus, and they discuss with their friends what is like to be be part of the Socialist Party. I want to be part of the Communist Party. The ideas are great, more equality, more whatever, but they don't know the reality. They've never been there. Or maybe they've been into Cuba because they bought like a tourist package to the best part of the island and stay on the five stars hotels that the regime holds in the island. But I don't think they never experience what it's to live with lack of medicine, with the lack of food, with the lack of electricity, with the lack of gas, with the lack of respect for human rights violations all over every day, and a government that persecutes people just for speaking out against them and their human rights violations and the crimes. This is something that you cannot explain very easily. It's something that you have to live to understand what it really does, how damaging for a human, for a society, for a kid, for a woman,
for mental health that is really important right now.
Of course, I've been in therapy for the past 2 years, basically the time that that took me to escape from Venezuela, and I still have post-traumatic stress disorder because of the situation that I have to go through in Venezuela. I've been shot at, I've been publicly humiliated in national television by the regime. I've been publicly threatened. The military have been trained to capture me for a very long time. It's not an easy situation. It's not easy to live with that inside you. So I've been in therapy for the past 2 years, and this is something that many people that doesn't realize how bad this is wants for their country. But I don't want to get in there because it's a conversation that is really difficult, and I'm not that skilled in English, so I don't want to say something that is being misunderstood. But anyway, La Sonrisa de Victoria is a great book for parents to learn while they teaching their kids about a better mental attitude about things. And you know what? In 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, the kids that are reading this today, they're going to remember that someone spoke to them directly with respect and trying to explain that what was happening, and in a language that they can process and they can understand. And I think they will be grateful that someone gave them the tools to bypass all these horrible situations and try to learn a little bit about the emotional management. That's something that this book also teaches. But anyway, I'm very proud of the book. I hope that anyone that can get it, please get it, because for every 2 books that we sell online, this is available on Amazon.com, only in the United States and in Spain, sadly, because some restrictions in Amazon distribution, whatever. But for every 2 copies that we sell on those platforms, we give one back in Venezuela. We already have gave 300 copies of this book back in Venezuela, and we are also trading this for medicines back home. So anyway, if you are interested in helping the kids in Venezuela, just grab a book and you make sure, and you are making sure that one kid in Venezuela that cannot afford it is going to get 1 copy.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Just one more question. I just want to ask you, what do you want to say to my community? And of course, please tell us which is the social media that you want to share. I'm going to put in the description section down below all the links for buying the book. I bought it in Spain and I sent it. It's very, very cheap, so it's good. It's not really, really cheap, but it's not.
It's not a high price because it's not. This book is not
affordable.
This book is not for profit. If it were for profit, we weren't giving away all these books back in Venezuela. This is something that we thought that it was needed, and we made it, and we didn't want to make profit of the disgrace of my country. We just want to make this historical record, and bring something to the kids, and that's why the price is low, and it's enough to pay for the other copies. So that's it. But anyway, if I have something to tell anyone that is listening to Belly in her channel, is that please practice empathy. Empathy is one of the feelings that we forgot that we have.
And this is something that helps in every situation. Empathy has helped me to write this book, to do everything that I have been done in my entire career, most especially during my time working for human rights back in Venezuela and Latin America. Empathy is something that works when you have a political discussion about socialism or communism, or I don't know, whatever is in your mind. Empathy helps you to get through a conversation without fighting, trying to understand each other before getting into a discussion. But anyway, thank you, Belly, for the opportunity to present La Sonrisa de Victoria in your channel. For me, it's an honor. And well, guys, if you want to know more about me, only you have to follow me on social media as Melanio Escobar, and you can follow the organization that I run. It's called Redes Ayuda. In both channels, you can find everything about La Sonrisa de Victoria and everything I've been done. Thank you so much, Belly.
Perfect. Okay, so there's nothing else that I can say. I'm just extremely happy. As I mentioned, I mentioned at the beginning, he really has stories to tell. He is a storyteller in person. Like literally, there's a lot of things that we can say and we can talk and we can discuss with him. Even in Spanish and English, now we know that he speaks English perfectly, very nicely.
Thank
so
you.
do not hesitate. It's okay. Do not hesitate to tell me the questions that you want to do over here, and then we try to do another second, more different topic, more difficult topic. But as I mentioned today, we're just talking about this beautiful project that is called La Sonrisa de Victoria. Thank you, Melanio. Do not forget to subscribe, thumbs up, hit the notifications bell, and share the content. This is the most important content that we need to share because we are helping people back in Venezuela. I have many videos in my channel, but what is the best? That using empathy, as you mentioned. Bye.
Bye.